All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be exploring a journal entry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's from a book called The Dreamer's Journey. It's this kind of blend of memoir and dream exploration.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and the author is looking back at a time when he believed he had precognitive dreams, like dreams that could predict the future.
Oh, wow.
And what's really got me hooked is he's examining a specific dream about good luck that he had on the day of his bachelor party.
Hmm. So, like, did it actually come true?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
Uh,
He's analyzing whether the dream's prediction, actually happened, and if it did, was it really luck or just a bunch of coincidences?
I see, like a personal experiment.
Right. He's even gave these rules for what would count as a true manifestation of the dream. Like he can't have any influence over the events, and it has to be something really extraordinary, not just like your everyday coincidence.
That's a good point. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you could just make it happen yourself without even realizing it.
Exactly. So let's dive into this bachelor party, right? The author's at his sister's place where the party's kicking off, and his friends, being the classic bachelor party pranksters, surprise him with this ridiculous outfit. Tights, a tutu, a wig, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, man. Typical bachelor party stuff, huh? Making the groom the center of attention.
Yeah, exactly. But what's interesting is he actually decides to use it to his advantage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, instead of like shying away, he figures why not make the most of it. He and his friends, they head out to this busy intersection near a local mall, ready to, embrace the absurdity and collect some funds for the night.
Wow, that's pretty bold. I mean, putting yourself out there like that.
Totally. Especially considering how embarrassing it could be.
Right. Makes you wonder about his motivations. Is it just for laughs or, like, is there something deeper going on?
That is an interesting thought. Like, is he subconsciously trying to test his luck because of the dream?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so this is where things get wild.
Yeah.
They're cruising in a pickup truck, all decked out in their costumes, right? And they run into this guy, the owner of a local social club.
Yeah.
This guy randomly gives them a huge bag of edibles and marijuana
Oh.
out of nowhere.
Seriously. That's crazy.
I know, enough to keep the party going for a while, to say the least.
No kidding.
And the author even says that if they'd been stopped by the police, the whole bachelor party would have gone very differently.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was a close one.
Right. So it really makes you think, was this like actual luck, like his
Uh,
dream predicted?
It's hard to say. I mean, it's definitely a lucky break in a way.
Totally. And what makes it even more interesting is the timing of this whole thing.
How so?
Well, he's writing a book about his dreams, digging back into these precognitive abilities, and then suddenly, bam, this seemingly lucky event happens.
Hmm. That is interesting.
It's almost as if the universe is like testing him,
Yeah.
making him examine the connection between what's going on in his head and what's happening in his life.
Right, like a challenge.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder, what do you think luck even is? Is it just random chance? Or could there be something more to it? Like some, I don't know, like some grand plan we're not aware of?
That's a tough question. It's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg. I mean, is he seeing things as lucky because of his dream? Or is it just coincidence?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Could he be like subconsciously interpreting things to fit what he already believes about his dreams?
It's definitely possible. It's like sometimes we see patterns that aren't really there.
Totally. And that's what I think is so fascinating about this guy's story. He's clearly struggling with this, trying to find the truth. He wants to validate his past experiences, but he's also got to reconcile those with what he knows about the world.
He's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
It's like he's caught between believing in something extraordinary and being skeptical about it all.
Yeah.
I can see why he's struggling.
And it makes you think about how much of what we call luck is just a matter of how we see things, looking at events through the lens of our own beliefs and hopes and desires. So, to be clear, the author's definition of luck is that the event has to be something he couldn't have seen coming totally outside of his control. Like, it's got to be truly random.
Okay, I get it. He's trying to draw a line between coincidence and something more profound.
Exactly. And that's where the real conflict comes in, right?
Yeah.
Because if he somehow made this lucky event happen,
Mhm.
even subconsciously, does it still count?
Right. Or does the fact that he's searching for proof actually ruin the whole thing?
That's the question. It's a really fine line.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that struggle. We all want to believe in something special, something bigger than ourselves, but we also don't want to be fooled by our own minds.
So how do we even approach this? How do we balance believing in something with being skeptical? accepting the extraordinary while still staying grounded in reality.
Well, I think it starts with being open to the unknown,
Yeah.
accepting that there might be things happening that we don't fully understand.
And being open to the possibility that those profound insights, those aha moments, can come from the most unexpected places. Even a random encounter at a bachelor party.
Absolutely. It's about staying curious, being willing to explore the edges of what we know without getting stuck in rigid definitions or preconceived ideas.
And recognizing that the journey of self-discovery, just like figuring out these precognitive dreams, is full of uncertainty, doubt, and unexpected revelations.
Totally. It's the journey that matters.
So far, we've really unpacked the author's experience, his rules for defining luck, and this back and forth between belief and skepticism. But there's so much more to uncover in this journal entry.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
As we go deeper, we're going to explore the author's inner struggles, the philosophical side of all of this, and what it all means for us, the listeners.
Sounds like a plan. You know, it's really refreshing how honest this guy is.
Yeah.
He's not just jumping to conclusions like, oh, this totally proves my dreams are real. He's really wrestling with it, trying to figure out if this encounter actually fits with what he used to experience.
It's that tension that makes this so interesting to me, you know?
Yeah.
He's trying to connect his past self, the one who had those precognitive abilities, with who he is now.
And it's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
He even says that most people would probably just brush it off as a coincidence.
Right.
But he seems to be holding on to this possibility that it's connected to him diving back into the world of dreams.
It's like he wants to believe again, but needs more than just one weird event to fully commit.
And it brings up this really big question, you know?
What's that?
What even is luck? Like, is it just how you look at things, or is there something more objective, some kind of force out there in the universe?
Whoa, that's a deep one.
Yeah, I don't know if we can answer that for sure.
I don't think so either.
But this guy's experience at least makes us think about what W believe about luck.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it.
Oh.
How often do we just say something is good luck or bad luck without really thinking about it? Do we see patterns where there aren't any? Or ignore real coincidences?
Oh, I totally do that sometimes.
Me too.
Especially when things are going great, I start to feel like I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
But then something bad happens and I'm like, did I jinx myself?
Yeah. It's like we're always looking for meaning, trying to connect the dots.
We want the universe to make sense, even if it's all just random.
Exactly. And that's where this guy's dilemma is so relatable. He's trying to make sense of it all, fit it into what he thinks he knows.
But what if this encounter is pushing him beyond that? Like making him rethink his whole definition of luck?
That's an interesting thought.
Right.
Maybe the real gift isn't about predicting the future. You know, maybe it's about being open to seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary stuff.
To see the potential for something amazing in just everyday encounters.
Exactly. And to be okay with things happening that we just can't explain.
So maybe that's the essence of luck.
What do you mean?
Being open to the unknown, trusting that there's something bigger at work, even if we don't get it.
Okay, I see what you mean.
You know, this has got me thinking about something else.
What's that?
This author is so focused on this big, splashy event as proof of his dream.
Yeah.
But what about all the smaller moments of potential luck in his life? The ones that maybe he's not even noticing.
That's a good point.
We tend to focus on the big stuff, the dramatic things.
Yeah, the things that are hard to miss.
But those little moments could be just as important, you know?
Like what?
Like bumping into someone who says just the right thing at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Or having a sudden idea that helps you solve a problem.
Right. Those little nudges and coincidences that we usually don't even think twice about.
Exactly. So maybe it's not about waiting for these huge life-changing events. Maybe it's about being aware of those little things, being open to the possibility of luck in all its form.
From the big stuff to the everyday stuff.
Yeah. And maybe trusting our gut feeling, that intuition that tells us when to go for it and when to just let things happen.
It's about finding that balance, you know?
Between trying to control everything and just going with the flow.
Right. Because sometimes those unexpected turns take us to exactly where we need to be.
Even if it wasn't part of the plan.
And maybe what we call luck is just a combination of things, you know?
Like what?
Our actions, our intentions, and just the random nature of the universe.
Wow, that's really interesting.
It's this dance between what we do and what happens to us.
And we'll keep exploring that as we go deeper into this journal entry.
Absolutely.
There's still so much to unpack here.
So much to think about.
about luck, dreams, and this guy's journey of self-discovery.
It's a really compelling story.
As we move forward, I'm curious to see how he makes sense of it all.
Me too.
Will he fully embrace the idea of his precognitive abilities? Or will he stay skeptical?
And what will he learn about himself along the way?
So many questions.
Yeah, but that's what makes this so exciting.
It's all about the exploration.
Exactly. Uncovering the mysteries of the mind and the universe.
Get ready, dear listener, because we're about to dive even deeper into this story of dreams, luck, and the search for meaning.
It's going to be a wild ride.
It's funny, isn't it? How what one person thinks is super lucky could be totally normal for someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe running into a social club owner giving away free stuff is just another Tuesday for some people.
It all depends on your perspective, right?
Totally.
What seems extraordinary to one person could be totally mundane for another.
It's all about what you're used to and what you expect from the world.
Exactly.
And speaking of expectations, this author has some pretty specific ideas about what counts as a real precognitive dream experience.
Like what?
No personal influence, a truly out there event. It's like he set this super high bar for himself to believe.
He's trying to be objective, right?
Yeah, I think so.
To make sure that if he accepts this as a genuine gift, it's based on solid evidence, not just wishful thinking.
I get that.
He wants to be sure.
But I wonder if by being so strict, he might be missing something.
You mean like that?
Could there be other ways those precognitive dreams are affecting his life? Subtle ways that he's not even noticing because they don't fit his definition.
Interesting.
What if it's not always about the big dramatic stuff? What if it's the smaller moments that guide him in a certain direction or open up new possibilities?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like meeting someone who says exactly what you need to hear at just the right moment.
Or having a sudden burst of inspiration that leads to something amazing.
Exactly. It's about being in tune with those little connections, those synchronicities.
Those moments where things just seem to line up.
Maybe that's the real key to unlocking the power of dreams, whether they're precognitive or not.
Maybe it's about paying attention to the whispers, not just the shouts.
And so much of this comes down to interpretation, doesn't it?
How so?
We've talked about how luck is subjective, but even the dreams themselves, is he focusing on certain details because they match up with what happened in real life?
Or were those details actually important in the dream all along?
It's hard to know for sure.
It really is.
And that's where his struggle becomes something we can all relate to.
In what way?
We all try to make sense of our experiences, to find meaning in the things that happen to us.
We want to believe there's a reason for it all.
Whether it's fate, luck, or precognitive dreams, we want something to hold on to.
It's a very human thing.
It makes me think about the placebo effect.
Oh, interesting.
If you believe something strongly enough, can you actually make it real?
That's a big question.
I know. And science is still trying to figure it out.
But it shows the power of our minds, right?
Totally.
How our beliefs can shape the way we see the world.
Absolutely. So back to our original question.
Okay.
Did this author really have a precognitive dream about good luck on his bachelor party?
Well, based on what he wrote in his journal, it's definitely possible.
He had the dream, something unusual and positive happened, and it seems to fit his rules.
It's compelling evidence.
But in the end, it's up to him to decide what he believes.
And I think that's the biggest lesson we can take away from this whole deep dive.
What's that?
The power of personal interpretation.
We can analyze things all we want, look at the evidence, consider different perspectives.
But it's our own beliefs and experiences that shape how we understand the world.
So as you go about your day, dear listener, think about that.
Pay attention to those little moments, those unexpected encounters, the things that make you wonder if there's something more going on.
You might just find a bit of magic in the everyday.
And who knows, maybe you'll even start to question your own beliefs about luck, fate, and the power of dreams.
Because sometimes the most amazing insights come from the most unexpected places.
It's been a great exploration, and I hope it's given you some new things to think about.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep your eyes open for those little sparks of magic in your own life.